Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Today I am making for you something that was inspired by my friend Matthew, who is dying for some vegan ice cream cake. So I thought this would be a great idea to make it. It's actually really easy to make. And so I figured, why not go ahead and give it a try. These are some of the things I have. I have some Oreos, which are vegan, that we'll crush up, and we're going to make a cookie chocolate syrup layer in between the ice cream flavors. I grew up eating Carvel cakes, and it was always so good, those cookie crumbles. So delicious. So some of the things that you're going to need to have if you want to make an ice cream cake, which maybe you have, maybe you don't, is a spring form pan. And these are mini ones because I think they're cute, but I do have a big one too. So it's a lot easier if you make one big cake, just because you have 3 things to do. But basically it has a latch, and it's easy to get the bottom right out. These are good for cheesecakes, ice cream cake, anything that you don't want to like have to stick a fork in and try to get out of the bottom of the pan, or something that's going to stick to the pan. That's what this is for, so that you don't mess the whole cake up. If I tried to get it when it was done out like this, it would mess up the cake. It wouldn't be pretty. So I have my 3 little mini ones. Also, I picked out my favorite flavors. You could pick out whatever you like. This is coconut, dairy-free ice cream, or technically frozen dessert. But I picked out chocolate and strawberry, just basic flavors. Nothing fancy, but you can use any flavor they have. And I actually have a second chocolate one. I'm not sure if we'll need it for the mini cakes, but no worries, we'll definitely eat this. Never a problem if there's extra ice cream. Then we'll also need some saran wrap, and that's going to go in the pan. And that's all that we need, really. And now it's just putting it together and putting it in the freezer. You need at least a couple hours. So that's the hard part. You can't like eat it and make it and then eat it right away. Or, you know, if you know you're going to have friends over, something you can make it the day before. That's even better. So let's get started. So I grabbed a handful of Oreos and I stuck them in a Ziploc bag. This is the fun part. You can get out all your frustrations for the day. And you are literally just going to, you know what, I might have to move to the counter where you can't see me. I might be over here. If you have a rolling pin, that works good. You are basically just going to break them into small pieces. You can just do it with your fingers. I put maybe, I didn't count, maybe 10 cookies. You could always make more. Not a problem. And if you want, if you really want to, you can take the cream out of the middle, you know, just separate the Oreos, but there's no part of Oreo that I don't like. So I use the whole Oreo. They actually also sell like just chocolate wafer cookies, I think they're, I don't know, that are probably vegan, and they look awfully a lot like just the edges of Oreos. You could try that too. But I tend to have Oreos in because I have kids and a husband that adores Oreos. So you can make these as fine or as crunchy as you want. As fine as crunchy as you want. And then we'll just put them aside until we get our ice cream in. You also need to have the ice cream sit out for like 15 minutes. You know, when you get home, especially if it's just come from the freezer, it needs a good 15 minutes because you have to be able to scoop it out and form it at the bottom of your pan. Next thing we got to do is take a big square of saran wrap and put it right over your springform pan and push it down. It needs to be a lot bigger than the pan because you're going to fold it over when you put this in the freezer. So you need a nice big square. And since I am doing 3 mini ones, I'm going to do each one now and sort of do it like assembly line sorts. So, all right, I got that. Now I think, because chocolate is my favorite, I'm going to do a bottom layer of chocolate. You scoop about as much as you want. You want to fill it about 1/3 up because we're going to do 2 layers of chocolate and 1 layer of strawberry. You could do just 2 thick layers. You can even do 1 flavor. Just put the cookies in the middle. So just try to line the bottom. Can you see in the light? That's why it's good if it's a little melted. You don't want it fully liquid, but you want to be able to push it around the bottom of the pan. It does not have to be perfect because we're going to be layering it. So let me do the next two. Okay, I'm back. So you can see I've filled each of these with about a third the way up with chocolate ice cream. I've also now put my Oreo crumbles into a little dish. This way we can make the filling. So now I'm going to grab the chocolate syrup, and I'm not going to go crazy with it, but I am going to put, you know, I don't know, enough to make it a little messy. And yes, you have to use your hands to get it really covered. You want to cover each of the Oreo pieces as best you can. See, you don't want it like soup. You want it to still like have crunch. So if you wet it too much, you'll lose the crunch. You don't want soggy Oreos. Well, I probably wouldn't mind soggy Oreos either, but you know, hey, I like a little crunch. Then we're going to put a thin layer. And did I say this is about half the Oreos I used? So we want to divide it in three. Put a thin layer in each, right? Try to make it flat. Can't see because of the lighting probably, but I will show you. Have no fear. Okay, and then we'll do the same with the second half of the Oreos. But just so you can see what I am talking about, just a thin layer of the Oreo and chocolate syrup mixture on top. I'll be right back. I have to wash this hand. So now we move on to our second flavor, which is strawberry. This is simply strawberry. And you see how it's a little melted, not fully, but you definitely need it a little melted in order to push it around and to try to keep it in an actual layer. Like I said, it doesn't bother me if it's not exactly lined up or even layer. It all will still taste delicious, but if you want to make it look nice and pretty, you need it a little melted so that it will move around. And if I didn't already say, forgive me if I'm repeating myself, you can always throw these pints in the microwave for 20-30 seconds, you know, if it's not the consistency that you need. This is getting a little too hard. I might have to do it with the strawberry because it was melted on top, maybe not so much on the bottom. I'm only gonna have one layer of strawberry, so I'm gonna try to make it a little thick. Like I said, I'm not worried about it being too pretty. I would like it to look nice, but you know, I'm not that picky. I am all about easy and quick. Okay, one more. And I'll get right back to you. I'm gonna put this in the microwave. I'm back. Strawberry is a little more melty. You can see it in there. And I'm pretty much using like the whole pint for this layer. Now it's a little too melty, but it will work. Pushing it around to form a layer. Actually, that's a very pretty layer, and I'll do this. I might as well finish it off. So I will just add a little more to the others. And you see, you have a really pretty strawberry layer. Next, back to our cookies and chocolate syrup. I've already added it, the chocolate syrup. Mix it around, get them all coated. You can still crumble even if you see like any huge pieces, crumble them up. And divide it on top again. I still have some more cookies, so if I don't have enough here, which I may not, yeah, I'm gonna have to make some more. I mean, just put more in chocolate sauce. Like I said, not a problem. Just pour them in. Whoops. I feel like I've been playing in mud. And my hands look it too. I think I actually have enough chocolate syrup in here, so I'll just mix it around a little bit more. Might need even more still. So it's like a trial and error. You know, you add a little more. No big deal. I'll be wash this hand and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have all three done. And now our final layer, which is the last of the chocolate ice cream. Now, you could see some of these, I didn't leave that much room. It's not a problem. It can go over the edge a little bit. Oh, this is not melted too much, but it can go over the edge a little bit, not to worry. I wouldn't put it way over the edge, only because you want to keep it in a nice little round shape. But, you know, it could go over a little bit. Now you want to just kind of flatten it. And of course you can add anything you like to this. You can add toasted coconut. You can add fresh fruit. It'd be really good. I got strawberry ice cream, so I guess that counts as my fruit. I don't know if it really does. Probably not. But I'm going to count it as my fruit for the day. But any kind of nut would be delicious. A pecan or an almonds probably would be really good. And so let's just finish this last layer up, and then I'm going to fold the plastic. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just finishing up wrapping. You can see I did these two already. You can see it comes above the edge, no problem. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it sealed so it doesn't melt and get all over your freezer. So the last one, I'll just show you what I did. Now, if the saran wrap is not long enough, for instance, like this one right here, which is kind of why I left it for you to see. It's not a big deal. As long as you could just cover it up most of the way, we're good. Get to lick your fingers too. Okay, I am going to stick these in the freezer, and I am going to leave them there at least 2 hours. Probably longer if I can. And then what I'm going to do, and I'll show you when we get to that point, but I'm going to drizzle the chocolate syrup on top. You could also buy non-dairy whipped cream or regular whipped cream if you eat it. And obviously you can make this with regular ice cream too if you're not vegetarian. If you're not vegan. Whatever floats your boat, it's still delicious. So I'm going to pop these in and I'll be back when they're ready. Okay, let's check to see if they are done. And they are very hard. So we are in business. I'll show you one. Now I'm going to unwrap it, unclamp it, and it will actually fall right out. Get that off. What I'm going to do is unwrap it, and then I'm going to take out the chocolate syrup and we're going to decorate it. Stay tuned.